everyone, welcome. My name is Andrew Pestridge. Welcome to another P3D video. Today I'm going to show you how you can recover your P3D and get it running again if it just won't start, if it just won't load, or if it crashes out, or if for just some reason you can't load into a flight. So there's multiple reasons why this could happen, but today we're going to be focusing on what could possibly be going on in your scenery library, excuse me, in your scenery library, especially if you use XML add-ons and you have lots of airports in there, which will also be in your scenery library. Here you can see these are grayed out. You might have a lot more than me. In fact, your scenery library might look very different to mine as well. There is a correct way and a wrong way to manage your scenery library. Regardless of what people say, your scenery library has to be in a certain order. Regardless of how you want it to be ordered, it has to, in order for P3D to load right, it has to be sitting in a particular order. I've done kind of how they're ordered in previous videos, so go check them out. In fact, down below in the description box is a whole playlist of helpful P3D videos. And next week we'll be talking about the library insertion point, which is to do with Orbex and its central and all of its products in relation to any other third-party airports or sceneries you might have, and how they're placed in your scenery library. Orbex Central comes with a free scenery manager. It's a brilliant scenery library manager. It's the only one I use, and it correctly orders everything for you as long as you give it the right information. So check out that video next week. But yeah, the reason your sim's probably not loading is most likely because of your scenery CFG file. This is a very crucial document, the scenery CFG file, and if it's incorrectly numbered, if these are corrupted entries here, if the layering is completely out, or if there's huge gaps in the data here, you could have a corrupted file. In fact, even if it looks okay, it could still be corrupted because it's not layered okay, and it's so easy for this thing to get corrupted when you use XML add-ons. Now, I'm sorry for the length of this video, but I'm trying to appease to everybody, you know, who is coming in to watch this. If you're just beginning with P3D, or if you're a veteran. If you're a veteran, you could probably skip the first 5 minutes of this video and go straight towards the end where the fix will be. But for those who have just started with P3D, I feel like I need to explain a little bit about how your scenery library loads the sim in order for you to be able to correctly fix this. Your scenery library in P3D, I mean, this is identical system to what FSX used to do, except the big difference between P3D and FSX is that FSX didn't have these add-ons here, these XML add-ons, which is kind of a new way to allow scenery and airports to be put into the sim. And FYI, no scenery should ever become a XML add-on. And what's the difference between a scenery and a non-scenery? Well, a scenery is a large area of land, or a large add-on, as it were, in your sim where the data does not change. So let's take these mega scenery as an example here. Utah version 3 here, the data within this product does not change. Okay, there's no configurator for it to turn lights on and off, or to change seasons or whatever. All the data is a static data, and it's a large data. It covers the entire state of Utah. Therefore, it does need to be in your scenery library and not as an add-on XML. If you've got scenery items like Orbex Global, Orbex Vector, Orbex Land Class, or even Buildings and Trees HD, as an add-on XML, you need to uninstall them and reinsert them into your scenery library. How can you tell if it's in your scenery library? Well, it's going to be in the white lettering here. Anything grayed out here is an add-on XML. It's not actually a part of your scenery library. It is an addition to your scenery library, even though you see it in the scenery library list here and it gets written with the scenery indexes. It's not actually a part of the scenery CFG, which is one of the locations P3D looks to load its data from. So some add-ons only use this document to load up with the sim, and therefore they don't even check the add-on CFG file, which includes all your add-ons as well. So if you've got scenery items in as an add-on XML, that's most likely probably part of the reason why you can't load your sim, or why your sim gets corrupted over time. Another disclaimer: the more add-ons that you have in your sim at any one time, the more likely chance that your sim is going to be corrupted over time. Because as you begin to install more items, these add-on XMLs could start shifting around, you know, because they're not static scenery items. They're XML packages which just sit on top of your scenery library or get layered in between if you know, they're given a layer entry here by the developer. These don't actually move. These are rigid. So St. Vincent here was given a layering around 4 something, I think it was 450, but now it's sitting at 435. So the indexes could get completely corrupted and messed up there if I didn't do anything about it. I don't actually keep these in my sim constantly. I remove add-on XMLs when I'm not using them. So in your documents P3D folder, all of these airports here are add-on XMLs. When I'm not flying to these airports, I take them out and load up the sim. And I mean, at the end of the day, I've always got an add-on XML in my sim, but it's just different airports because I have a complete whole directory full of airports here, which I swap in and out when I need to fly them. So I don't keep all my add-on XMLs in my sim all the time, because over time it would corrupt and kill P3D. P3D is basically FSX, and it's not really yet 100% designed to accept or utilize the XML add-on route of inserting airports and sceneries. It's kind of still in a development stage for that, I would say. It's very good. It works 100% if you know how to work it. If you try to use it like you think you should be using it, which is just throw in all your add-on XMLs, throw in all your scenery items, and maybe utilize Orbex Central to layer all this correctly, it will corrupt over time, because the more you then add scenery items after that, these start shifting around, your indexes get messed up, and even though P3D rewrites them every time there's a change, they could still get corrupted. So I basically only insert add-on XMLs when I need to use them. Anyway, time for the fix. How do you fix a corrupted P3D? Okay, it's to do with Orbex Central, and it's to do with your scenery library. Okay, so the first thing is completely shut down your sim. Don't have it running. Make sure it's completely gone. Now, it might take a few seconds to disappear once you exit out, because it's kind of cleaning up files or rewriting, but when Chase Plane disappears, that's when you know it's completely gone. And don't exit out of it, just allow it to shut down naturally. There we go. First thing, create a folder on your desktop called New Folder 2, and inside take every airport or every XML that is in here, and cut and paste it in here. Okay, don't put any utilities, airplanes that are in the add-on packages, just the airports. Remove every single airport. Things that are okay to sit in here are like stuff like the FS Dream Team add-on manager, any AIG, basically anything you see here is okay to stay. What's the airports is there for? That's a bit weird. But just take out your airports. Once you've done that, reopen your sim again, and allow it to load up. Now what it's going to do when it loads up now is it's going to rewrite a few files based on what you've actually got in your P3D add-ons section. Because now I've taken out these airports, these are no longer a part of my scenery library, so it's actually going to kind of rewrite the temporary add-ons CFG to not include these now. These won't appear in my scenery library, and my sim will look a little bit different in terms of what the scenery library looks like. Also, I would recommend to never open Orbex Central while your P3D is loading or while you have it loaded. Orbex Central, when you first boot it up, it writes files or it connects to files from P3D, CFG files, and if it does change anything, it could crash your sim. So just make sure the Orbex Central app is completely shut down before you start, starting up your sim or anything. So the issue basically, like I said, with your sim is that the add-on XML packages, which aren't actually a part of your scenery library, they're shifting around and basically locking your sim. Scenery items don't shift around unless a new scenery item is inserted, and then they kind of will shift, and then that forces the sim to rewrite your scenery indexes, whereas XML add-ons aren't a part of the scenery library process. They're extra additional packages that sit on top of your scenery library, but they are included in the scenery indexes, and they are included in the rewriting. But if they shift, let's say if airports are given like a certain layer in your scenery library as an add-on XML and given a certain priority here, sometimes they don't actually rewrite the file, or something can happen where it just basically thinks it's still in the old place that it used to be in, and yet it's in actually a new place, which then confuses the scenery indexes, and so when the sim is trying to load, it can't load because it doesn't know what to load, or it just won't load and it locks out. So the only way to fix it is to actually remove all your XML add-ons like I've done here, and make sure that your scenery library insertion point is set correctly. So if you come down here where it says FTX-A8 Orbex libs, this is now the bottom of my third-party payware stuff. It doesn't include any third-party stuff below this. This is all Orbex stuff now. So Orbex needs to know exactly where to sit. So the one above the Orbex libraries is Tasmania version 3. So we're now going to load up Orbex Central, and we're going to make sure that the insertion point is correct. So load up your Orbex Central. There is a gear icon in the top right. Click on that, click on insertion point, and make sure that where it says Orbex Airports and Regions, that item that is above Orbex libraries in your scenery library is the one selected here. So just open it up, scroll down, and find where it is. It will most likely be the one just above in here, the default stuff. So if we scroll down, the default one is Randolph AFB. The one above it is the one you want, so Tasmania version 3. We select that, and then it rewrites your scenery library based on the new information that it has, which is without all those add-on XMLs. So now we can shut that down and restart our P3D, and you should have now a clean scenery library. And when I say clean, it does not have any add-on XMLs in it. It's now a clean scenery library, and load into your sim, it will load. The problem is you want to put all of those airports back in. I understand that, and you can, but over time this exact same thing is going to happen. It's going to lock out again. As they start shifting around and changing your scenery library, which makes, problems begin to crop up in your sim, like elevation issues, scenery not showing correctly, and then eventually lockout. And then you have to remove all your add-on XMLs, clean your scenery library, then put them back in, and away you go again. One thing you can do is only pop in the add-on XMLs. See, this is a clean library. This is what a clean scenery library looks like, where you have what needs to be at the top. Then you have all your regions, all your airports, and then all your Orbex products, and then all your default stuff. And that's kind of like the way it should look. And I understand you want to put all these add-on XMLs back in, but like these are just link files. See, add-on XML link file, add-on XML link file. There is actually nothing in here. There's no airports in here at all. I mean, this probably only totals about 10 kilobytes in total. There you go, 56 kilobytes in total. So there's no actual airport information here. So you could literally just pop it in when you need to and then take it back out again. And there is a process that you need to do if you decide to do it this way, which is the way I do it. I just pop in the add-on XMLs that I'm going to use in that flight, and then I remove it afterwards. So I have a full directory of exactly what needs to be in there. Of everything I have, which I then just pop in when I need to use it. So here is the add-ons location. So I just literally pop these in when I need them. But it won't look correct if I just did that and then load it into the sim. You could have floating buildings or floating objects, and it could look a bit weird. There is a process that you have to do. So firstly, I'll quickly run through this with you now. But that's basically how you fix your sim if it's corrupted. So we're going to move all these back into here. And we can get rid of this new folder now. Don't need that. We're going to load up the sim, and of course it's going to ask me, do I want to accept the new add-on elements that are going in? I'll say yes. And then I'm going to load into the sim, although I won't do it this time, but you then load into your sim, and you might see floating things in the air. You might see weird glitches going on. Just accept all these. If you've got hundreds, there we go. Yeah, you might see weird glitches going on, and that's because you know your scenery indexes are kind of fuddled, and usually a sim restart will sort that out. Another thing you can do, if you have Black Marble, it comes with its own configurator in the control panel to sort this problem out automatically, and you don't have to really worry about anything. It also deletes the shaders cache for your DirectX 12 to keep that clean and corrupt free. If you don't have that product, then you have to manually do it. I don't know how you manually do the DirectX 12 shader cache, but for your scenery indexes, you just go into program data, into Lockheed Martin P3Dv5, into the scenery indexes 64 location. Here we go. We have everything in here. It isn't actually now correct because this library isn't actually correct. If I load it into this airport, like one of the airports, let me see here. Which airport did we just load? Let's go to Miami. So when we load in here, obviously right now there is no issues. Everything's fine. Everything looks great. But you might have certain weird artifacts floating in the air when you load up. If that is the case, if you do see weird artifacts in the air when you load up, then you need to basically reset your scenery indexes. The way you do that is Black Marble has its own control panel in which to do this with. So you just basically load up the control panel to Black Marble. When you buy Black Marble base, you get this control panel. You flush your DirectX cache, you rebuild your index, click apply, and basically what it's going to do is delete all the scenery indexes in this folder in program data, Lockheed Martin prepared version 5 scenery index 64. It's going to flush this folder. You'll see these disappear in a second. Now what these files are, these DAT files, This is basically a index list of your scenery library and every sim object that sits in there, the location of all your sim objects, and just helps to load the sim a lot quicker and more efficiently than not using these DAT files. So there they go. They've all been deleted by this. It will also delete the cache for DirectX 12. So errors don't appear in there, which will be rebuilt once we start using the application. This may take time depending on the speed of your CPU, depending on what kind of hard drive you're using, depending on a few factors. It will finish, and I urge you not to cancel it out prematurely. Once that's done, I always just empty the recycle bin, just in case, you never know. And then restart your sim, and your sim should load fine. Nothing will be floating around in the air. Nothing look weird. Anytime you make a change in your scenery library, I urge you to delete your indexes. So anytime you install new scenery, anytime you remove an add-on XML out of your P3D add-ons folder, and again, I do not recommend you keeping all your add-on XMLs inside your prepared version 5 add-ons folder for more than, say, 3 or 4 load-ups of the sim. If you do keep everything in there and everything ticked, it will lock out over time. As you begin to install more stuff in, it will just lock your sim. It's the nature of the way add-on XMLs work with a scenery library that is built to not accept them. So, and I'm sure in the future, Lockheed Martin will improve the scenery library functionality with add-on XMLs. But for now, this is the way I do it, and I've never had an issue. I've never had a lockout, and it's been running 100% fine ever since I've been using P3D version 5. Anyway, that's it for this video, really. That shows how you can repair your sim locked and it won't start. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comment section below. And next week we'll talk about the scenery library insertion point, which is one of the factors in how you fix your sim. If your elevation stuff or scenery isn't looking correctly in the sim, it's probably a layering issue. We'll go through that fully in the next video. Anyway, thank you for watching, take care, and I shall see you in the future.